What's up, guys? As I indicated in a previous Dollar Tree haul video, I was going to do a separate video on this 5-film vampire collection. There's a few things I wanted to say about it. Basically, what I've learned is that a lot of the quality on some of the films that you see on some of these collections is not the greatest. I kind of suspected that. I ended up watching 3 of these movies on YouTube, okay? And parts of another one, and another one I'm saving. But then it turned out, not only, this was kind of an impulse buy. You go to the Dollar Tree, like, wow, 5 vampire films for $1.25. Okay? But turns out, guys, I have all 5 of these in other collections. I got this from oldies.com. There's some of them on there. There's 2 of them. There's Fangs of the Living Dead, Count Dracula and His Vampire Brides. Here's Grave of the Vampire and Vampire Happening. That's... on Earth was there. So I got this 50 movie horror collection from oldies.com. Many of the quality on a lot of these is bad. So a lot of times it's the same titles that tend to get knocked around for years. So it's good to know which ones are sort of in that category. And as a matter of fact, from oldies.com, they had this for about $4.95 or so, this entire collection. They had a separate collection of Vincent Price films with Last Man on Earth, about 5 films. But again, the quality probably wasn't good. The quality, well, let's get into it, okay? I mean, I don't really regret getting this. It was a learning experience, and also it did get me to, the standout for me was Grave of the Vampire. Last Man on Earth, of course, that is a Vincent Price film based on I Am Legend, the first movie based on Richard Matheson's story, I Am Legend. A lot of you know that. It's very influential, so it's certainly worth watching if you've never seen it, just for curiosity's sake. It is kind of a milestone sci-fi horror film. The beings are described as vampires, but they kind of act like zombies. They do talk, but a lot of the same plot points that you saw from I Am Legend are included in this film. Some differences, of course. Very influential. Obviously influenced Night of the Living Dead. You've got a guy holed up in a house with these vampires coming at night, laying siege to him. And they are vampires. I mean, garlic, mirrors, there's, stakes involved. It's a pretty good film. The ending is a little bit rushed, I think. Is he truly the last man on Earth? Well, you have to wait till the end. But they have some flashbacks, which are very sad, and I guess I'm reviewing this film now. They have some flashbacks, which are very sad, when the disease first starts to spread, and they're wondering if it's airborne, and he has some loved ones that get ill, and they're burning the bodies in a big burn pit at the edge of town. Somebody passes away, and they decide, well, I don't want to do that. I'm just going to bury them. Well, guess what? They come back, and it's pretty upsetting. It's a very influential film, filmed in the Italian countryside. So, okay. Anyway, like I said, the revelation for me was Grave of the Vampire. Now, I've heard of it before. I was started to watch it, and the copy didn't look great, but it didn't look terrible. Oh, I forgot to talk about the quality of this one. Well, let me do this one first. Didn't look terrible. I got about 20 minutes into it, and then it's almost like they started using a whole different film stock as far as the transfer, because it just got a lot worse, and it was jumpy. The picture was jumping up and down. So I said, the heck with this. So I looked on YouTube. They had a cleaned up copy. My words are failing me here, but a restored version on YouTube. That is the one I would watch, guys. It's very crystal clear. It looks really good. This is a good movie. It's definitely like a B movie, a low budget vampire movie, but this is a good movie. I really enjoyed this. It's got Michael Pataki playing a vampire, and it's a PG movie, but it's like a 1970 PG movie, so it's kind of brutal. 74, okay. And basically, a couple are getting married, but they're a little weird, I guess. So they go to a cemetery, and the guy proposes at a cemetery, and just then a vampire wakes up and brutalizes the guy. I mean, he picks him up and he drops him onto a tombstone. It's pretty brutal. You don't really see the impact, but the vampire in this is rather brutal, and I kind of like that. But he could be a smooth talker too. But it's kind of a brutal film. Then he rapes the young lady, and she gives birth to a baby who only drinks blood. That baby grows up to be the big, brawny, muscular William Smith, who is now searching for his father, who he wants to kill. And the father is now posing as a college professor, and William Smith gets involved with some of the ladies in his class who have an interest in the subject of the class, and he basically zeroes in on who his father is, and there's a confrontation at the end, and it's pretty good. And like I said, the quality of the film looks pretty good. The thing I liked about it is Michael Pataki. I don't know if you would cast a guy that would look like that today. Okay, he looks like he'd be an accountant or a banker or a principal. He had a deep voice though. He was really good. I mean, he was very commanding. He played Dr. Hoffman in Halloween 4, by the way. He was in a few other horror films. But now the setup, you don't get to see William Smith as a grown man until about half an hour in, and then you have an hour left. In a way, it felt like a made-for-TV movie almost, the way that it wraps up so quickly. So at the end, during the confrontation, there's some pretty good fights. I don't know if you guys know much about William Smith, but he was a extremely athletic individual. And unlike when Michael Pataki picks somebody up and drops them on a tombstone in the beginning, they kind of cut away from it. There's actually a scene where William Smith reaches down, grabs a guy who's on the ground in the prone position, just grabs him, and lifts him up to his shoulders, and then bench presses him over his head, and then slams him. And I don't think they use any wires. There's a scene where he runs down the stairs, and he's wearing like a white T-shirt. I mean, this guy had arms like you don't even believe. I mean, he was in shape. So it was a fun movie. I really enjoyed it. Now, the quality of Last Man on Earth wasn't as bad. It was the formatting, okay? I hate when you see the opening credits and they're cut off. So that right there caused me to look on YouTube, and I compared what the credits look like on YouTube to this copy, and I watched the rest of the whole movie on YouTube, okay? Now, Fangs of the Living Dead. 80 minutes. Apparently, there's a version which is about 15 minutes longer. I have no interest in finding it. This is actually filmed by Armando Osorio of the Tombs of the Blind Dead trilogy. Stars Anita Ekberg. She's a beautiful virgin who travels to a castle that she inherits, and she gets mixed up with her uncle, who's turns out to be an old vampire, and he's turned a lot of the ladies in the town in the castle. He's got some helpers. They're all attractive. Lots of heaving cleavage. And he has already turned a lot of them into vampires. And it's just a very sort of standard vampire type film. It's dubbed, so some of the dubbing is a little rough. It's the kind of film where someone will say something ominous and you'll hear a wolf in the background. Okay? The action is okay. The castle setting is okay. You know, even if you think about Tombs of the Blind Dead by Osorio, you know, it's more atmospheric than action-packed. And as far as the atmosphere of this, we've seen it before. We've seen it done better in a lot of Hammer films. And Anita Ekberg was okay, but I mean, she's no Ingrid Pitt, I'll tell you that. It was okay, and then at the end, I guess there's supposed to be like a little twist, but then it turns into a joke, and I was like, what? So I can't imagine what the extra 15 minutes are. I don't have any desire to find out. Vampire Happening is a goofball comedy, which about a woman who inherits a castle, and I don't know, there's vampires, and she lives next to a school and seduces a teacher, and there's a girls' school next door, and there's lots of nudity. I see this one as a no rating. Lots of toplessness, and It's goofy. The humor doesn't work. It's dubbed. The dubbing doesn't help. I didn't actually finish it. It's very goofy. It wasn't for me. Count Dracula and His Vampire Brides. Now, this is... Yeah, okay. So yeah, the quality of this didn't look great. Looks to be the same. I just threw the one that was on here in and compared them. They look to be the same. Okay, so this like the same print of the film. As soon as you see like when it says Christopher Lee, the same. You have these red credits. I love the old red credits, but when they're blurry, you know that the quality might not be great. So that one is just completely off the table. First of all, I haven't seen all of the... Oh, spelling mistake. Look at that. I've only seen the first, with Christopher, the first Hammer Dracula film is the only one I've seen, is what I'm trying to say. So I've been saving those, so I need to see a good quality copy of that. Other than that, they did try to dress it up. They've got some facts about Christopher Lee and Anita Ekberg. Nothing that you can't find anywhere else on IMDb or anything like that. There's not much to the trivia. If you see this, I would, unless you really want to see some of these that you can't find on YouTube, I would skip it, to be honest with you. I'd go to YouTube and watch Grave of the Vampire while you still can. Get a good copy of Count Dracula and His Vampire Brides if you're into the Hammer Dracula series. Definitely watch The Last Man on Earth. Okay, you got to check that one off your list. That's a good one. Find that. That's on YouTube. Oh, I forgot to mention in the beginning, they actually kind of make an excuse for the quality and basically just say, "Oh, these are old films." It's a nice way of saying you're not getting remastered films. That was the word I was looking for before, remastered. Okay, there you go, guys. That's my review of this 5-film vampire collection, along with a little advice on maybe looking around other places, even YouTube, before you spend even $1.25 on something like this. Okay, thanks.